A curious planet. Discovery. As the little one travelled through the shimmering mist of ultraviolet droplets, great ancient giants with glossy bark appeared. The trees were so majestic that their big branches almost reached the sky. Even at first glance, the forest looked so intriguing that the little one decided to venture deeper without hesitation. The foliage grew so thick that the sky vanished. As the sun was just setting, all the trees and bushes offered a spectacle that occurred every sunset. All their leaves sparkled in the most beautiful colours, which were both stunning and intimidating for the little one. It was almost as if the giants were whispering secrets in song to each other. Perhaps they were just sharing knowledge, or maybe they were planning something. The little one had no time to waste, didn't pay much attention to it, and carried on until it found a perfect clearing to start the process. It turned off the engine and switched on the blue laser beam, which shot through the air between the trees and started scanning the planet. The data was conflicting because of so many different signals, messages, and versions of what had happened here. Among the signals were traces of advanced androids, a kind that wasn't too common in this part of the universe, so that raised some questions. But that an echo of a simple house robot followed was not weird in itself. But where were the houses? Who had built them, and did they still live here? As the confusion grew, all sorts of animals and even humans materialized as floating, whispering particles in the air surrounding the little one. It was as if it had become a receiver itself and no longer needed the laser. Along with the confusion, the little one's curiosity also grew stronger as it thought, there must be more to discover, and there must be more to such a place. As thoughts continued spinning in its little metal head, a faint signal from a long-lost city began vibrating in the air, and run-down buildings appeared in the distance as the mist cleared. It must be worth a closer look for my report, it thought. Taking care not to get detected, it started up the engine and flew closer to the city. The sounds typical of a city started pouring out. Lights came on in windows, and smoke danced out of chimneys, so it stopped again to analyze. This time, almost the entire history of the planet began playing out on the virtually transparent screen stored under the back panel. Most likely, space settlers had come across this place many sunsets ago and developed it. It was hard to piece together, as the images and sounds were all broken, like a fragmented memory. From what the little one could tell, the settlers had built the city using the humans they brought in transit, promising them a new and equal society. The humans had been made to work day and night, only to find themselves trapped in a harsh class system. One day, it had all collapsed, and the settlers simply took off without fighting for the city or the planet. Then a flash of some kind of night battles appeared on the screen. The images told stories about creatures that couldn't be seen in the daylight, coming out of their nests, and unusual-looking bushes that literally popped out of the ground to expand their territories. The nights were very short on this planet, so the battles seemed to have been intense and brutal. Among all the troubling images of the planet's cruel history, a young couple appeared as a faint haze. It seemed they had made an incredible discovery, and of course, the oldest family had taken advantage. The story of them being promised riches and power if they built a palace out of the marble blocks that they had found in a cave played out on the screen. After working themselves to the bone, building a very grand palace indeed, they had been outcast to the docks, which appeared to be a dark and gloomy place. The little one looked up from the screen for a second and thought, is everyone ferocious on this planet? Oh well. The images and data kept coming, and a young woman who seemed out of place appeared in the middle of the courtyard. She looked like no other, and the little one could not tell if she was human or not. She had human features, but her skin was bright green, and her long, beautiful hair was purple. Her eyes were so icy and deep that the little one had to turn off the screen to avoid losing itself in them. And as the screen was almost overheating, it was just as well. With the screen off, its thoughts started to wander again. Who is she? Is she even real? Or is this one of my own memories from all my travels? Although its mind was well trained and highly developed, the questions were many, and it would certainly need help with analysing the data. As the journey back was long, and the little one hadn't been to this part of the universe many times, it left all systems off to cool down for a while before running the startup checks. During the cool down, it even began contemplating whether to ever return. Although it felt like a troubled place, there seemed to be so much more to discover. There had been no time to explore the other side of the planet, and if one side of it was so full of mystery, what might the other hold? The little one fell into such deep thought that it didn't notice it had gone completely dark, and that it was definitely time to leave. It woke up fully, as if something had kicked it, thinking that the night battles might start at any moment. And what a thing to be caught in. A bush seemed to be moving, and different shapes of shadows were getting closer in an instant. So it ran the startup checks quicker than usual, and just as it started the little engine to set off, a faint voice that almost sounded human whispered through the trees. "Don't go into the forest of the lost trees at night." The little one quickly turned off the engine and spun around. No one was there. Another slightly distorted voice answered, "Don't you mean no path forest? It's dangerous." It spun back around, and there was nothing there but the trees, some flower bushes, and a lonely bird flying past. The metal panels on its back rattled as it shivered, and it muttered something to itself in zeros and ones. It started the engine again, and as the little one had not been detected by anyone or anything, it thought it would be best to leave all the beings to live out their lives.